welcome to our team call. We like to keep it interesting over here with the boss babes. No, seriously, guys, with all of that finally behind us, I just want to say hi, Kelsey. Thank you so much for doing this. Long story short, because I've already wasted so much of your time, Kelsey and I met when we were in college. I don't know if you guys know that, but we used to work at the same bar. And then we just kind of, did our own things kind of after that. She went off to be a news reporter. I was still stuck in the bar life, still am. But I will tell you that she has completely changed her life around with this business. I mean, it's so inspiring for me with everything that I want to make happen this year and everything that she's created with her team and the way, as much as she's grown in the last year. She finished 107. Am I right? Her team finished 107 out of 400,000 coaches. It's incredible. And I will tell you that last year at this time, you were just a diamond coach? And she finished the year as an elite coach, ranked number 107 in the company. So I've always looked up to her. I've always been so inspired by her. But guys, there was just something about her this last year that was incredibly intoxicating. And I want to, as much as she touched me last year, I bring that to all of you as much as possible, because if there's anyone who believes that you can do anything that you want if you set your mind to it, it's this girl. So I'm not going to take up anybody else's any more time. Go ahead, Kelsey.
All right. Thanks, Mac. I'm excited to talk to your team. This honestly, I'm going to just throw this out there. My schedule today was freaking insane. So this is like my, I think, 12th call of the day. So I apologize in advance if I'm taking continuous sips of water the entire time. So I can't even believe that. But because Tuesday is my team call schedule day, so it's like all over the place. But I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to end my night on this note, because I feel like anytime that I get to kind of sit back and just like really reflect and just be able to hopefully inspire somebody else and really just kind of hand somebody what I did on the silver platter is like a good day for me, because I believe that this business is not meant to be like withholding information from other people. I totally 150% believe that in order for you to grow a successful business, you have to share what you know with other people. And that's what I want to do tonight. So I kind of want to start off just by kind of telling you guys a little bit about my story, where I came from, and then moving into what I did last year, like what changed for me, because 2015 was one of the roughest years in my business. Like it was, I honestly consider it a total fail. And I'm going to get to that in a second, but I want to just kind of give you some feedback and let you guys know where I started. So I was a television reporter, as Max said. I graduated from WVU in 2011. So I feel like I can say that on this call, because like a lot of you, if you're in her market, are probably from that area. So I graduated from WVU. I wanted to be a sports reporter. Like that's all I ever wanted to do. I remember like wanting it from the day I walked into West Virginia University to the day I walked out. But I got offered a news job out of college, and whenever you're offered a job in the industry you're trying to get into, you just take it. You don't really think much of it. So instead of following my dream of becoming a sports reporter, I settled for this news job in Fairmont, Clarksburg area, which I know it's funny because like I can actually tell this story and you guys know what I'm talking about. So I took this job at WBOY in Fairmont, Clarksburg area, and my starting salary there was $21,000 a year. So basically break that down to about $500 every 2 weeks, after taxes, pretty much minimum wage living. I was living in this 1-bedroom apartment, that was not very nice. It was pretty scary to live in, to be honest with you. But it was all I could afford at the time. The roof was leaking. The water heater was constantly broken. I remember like having to drive to the gym countless amount of times, up to Bridgeport to go to Planet Fitness to shower because I didn't have any hot water. Basically, I had to beg my landlord to put a deadbolt on the door. Zach would come to visit me when I was living there, and he would tell me like he didn't feel comfortable with me staying there and like hated leaving because that's just like the area I was in. But again, I was broke. I couldn't leave. It's all I could afford. I remember there was times where I was picking like between gas money to go home and see my family or getting food for the week. I was living off of things like ramen noodles and frozen vegetables, and that was my life. And I remember at the time thinking to myself, like, this is what life is like after college, right? We all have to go through this little stage in our life. But I didn't believe that there was actually something out there better for me. So I settled. I realized that's where I had to start, and that's where I was. But as you guys can imagine, the news industry is not the incredible thing that people put it out to be. And if you turn on your news tonight, in the first 5 minutes, you'll be consumed with all the shit that's going on in the world, all the negativity and all the bad things. And while you guys get to turn your TVs off, I never did. It came home with me. There was countless times where I was called out of bed to go cover fires, covering severe accidents, being forced to do things I didn't want to do. And it caused a lot of severe anxiety and a lot of depression. And again, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, this is what I signed up for. This is what I went to school for. This was my dream for my life, is to like live this way, like constantly anxiety ridden and wondering where I'm going to be sent to the next fire, and overworked and underpaid and living off of ramen noodles. Like, that's what life is like after college. And that was it. Like, I remember just my depression became magnified, and I had to put on this giant front for everybody else, because everybody always remembered me as being the happy-go-lucky kind of girl. Like, that was who I was. And inside, I was just falling apart. So I turned to stress eating and a lot of alcohol. And stress eating, if you are unaware of it, is a thing. That is a condition. That is something that I don't know if any of you guys have dealt with in your lives, but like, you turn to food for comfort. That's just the way it is. So that was my life. I couldn't afford much food, but the food that I would get was not good for you food. It was cookies, it was cake, it was ice cream, it was all the stuff that I felt that temporary like happiness with. And if you guys have read the book Super Life by Darren O'Lean, which is the founder of Shakeology, that book changed everything for me, but that obviously didn't come for a while. But alcohol was a huge thing. I will tell you that I was probably 21, 22 years old, and I could probably fall on the borderline of alcoholic. Like, I was the girl that would drink herself to sleep at night because I was miserable. I didn't care if I had to work the next day. I didn't care if I had stuff to do. Like, I was drinking a lot. And I went to the gym a lot. I figured that if I was going to eat like shit and I was going to drink all the time, I might as well work out. So I went to the gym all the time. I was like, that was like the way my brain worked. It worked like, okay, eat like crap, drink all the time, and then go to the gym and you'll be fine. So while I maintained staying thin, I was extremely, extremely unhealthy. And I was just falling down this really bad track in my life, full of depression. And it was just absolutely terrible. So before I know it, I'm 10 pounds heavier. Zach moved from Kansas to West Virginia. We moved out of the crappy apartment and into a nicer one over in, where was it? You guys don't need to know that. I mean, who cares? We moved to a nicer apartment nonetheless. And it was while the living situation got better, things just kind of got worse. So I'm 10 pounds heavier. He's 20 pounds heavier. We're drinking ourselves to sleep every single night. I feel bad because I literally dragged him into this mess of a life that I had. I was miserable. I would literally see people I knew at the grocery store, and I would like go to the next aisle over just so I would have to avoid talking to them. Like, I just didn't want to talk to people. And that's like, if any of you knew who I was back then, you would know that was so not like me. I judged happy people. I didn't like when people were happy because I didn't understand why my life was like that. So the day that I came across Natalie's Facebook post, and I can tell you exactly what it looked like. I remember looking at it, and the thing is Natalie and I also met at Kegler's. And she was a great person. And I remember seeing that day and literally thinking two things: cult, and there's no way somebody can be that happy. Like, she got sucked into this whole Beachbody phenomenon. And I will be 150% honest. I never heard about coaches before her. Like, I knew that there were programs out there, but I never knew that coaching was a thing. But I didn't reach out to her. Did all of you guys find your coach on Facebook? Or at least like found the opportunity through Facebook? I didn't actually reach out to her then. I was a reporter. I figured out information on my own. So I went on Team Beachbody's website and I saw the 21-day fix there. And I was instantly drawn to that. And I was like, oh, I can do this. I can do that for 3 weeks. Like, I can totally get results. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, what is this 21-day fix thing? And I got a response back from her this long. Natalie was a coach for 2 months at the time. His response this long, explain what the 21-day fix was, what Shakeology was, and how much it was, in literally one message. And I was like, no freaking way. Like, this is like somebody just trying to sell me something. Poor Natalie, like I said, she was brand new, so she had no idea what she was doing at the time. But I ignored it. And I went on back onto Beachbody's website and I bought the 21-day fix on its own. And it was on back order at the time. So it took like a month and a half to get there. And I finally get it and I do it. I do it for 3 weeks and I finally felt like I had control over something in my life for the first time in a very long time. I lose 8 pounds in the first 3 weeks. I did it completely wrong, guys. Like, I literally counted out the peanuts and like packed them for Zach in his lunchbox. Like, that's how bad it was. Zach was eating 8 peanuts for a snack. Oh my God, it was so bad. But I was so excited about it because I loved it, but I wasn't drinking Shakeology. So I remember her posting something about Shakeology and like showing the transformation on her page. And I kind of watched her through this whole process as I was doing it on my own. Like, if I had a question, I had no hesitation like going to her and asking about it, even though I didn't purchase through her. And I see this post and she was talking about a girl that did the 21-day fix and her results were so much better than mine. And I found out Shakeology was kind of that missing link. So being the mooch and the cheap person I was, she was doing a Shakeology giveaway. And I reached out and I asked for her to send me a sample, and she did. And then it didn't take long after looking at the ingredients on the back of the label and realizing like what was in it for me to say, okay, screw it, I'll do it. But she convinced me. She's like, hey, you're basically, because I was sharing, guys, as I was doing this. I don't know how you guys were, but whenever I started this thing, I loved it. I was already like, I was gung ho about it from the moment I started it. So I was sharing on my own before I even knew about coaching. And she reached out and she was like, hey, you should try the coaching opportunity. And I was like, nah, busy life, give her all the excuses in the world. Finally, she convinced me to do it. And after dropping my excuses and realizing that I was going to get my Shakeology paid for with it, I said yes. And I want you to remember that line. The girl that Mackenzie introduced at the beginning of this call, 2017, elite coach, 5-star, whatever, joined because she wanted to get her Shakeology paid for. What did you start for? Was it because you wanted to be an elite coach? You wanted to be 2-star? You wanted to be diamond? It wasn't because of that. And that's something so important to remember. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I left West Virginia, I got a job in Tennessee. And I was moving farther and farther away from my dream of being a sports reporter, and Beachbody was starting to take this dream's place. And I will be honest with you guys, I never dibble-dabbled with this business because I knew that this was special from day one. A lot of people have this story where they're like, well, I fell off and I came back and I fell off and I came back. That was never me. I always knew that this was special. And again, I knew that if I could hit Success Club every month, I would make the extra money I needed to keep this thing going. Because remember, guys, I'm broke at this time. I don't have the money to be spending $130 on Shakeology a month. I just didn't. So I knew that I needed to make it work. And Natalie told me, she said, hit Success Club. So I did. I knew from the very first time I got on a Get Started Right call with Natalie, which I was her first coach, if you guys don't know that, but I was her very first Get Started Right call. Among the long message she sent me, she also sent me a giant packet of new coach information. So like the stuff that I had printed out from like when I first started as a coach is like this thing. It's unbelievable. And it's so crazy to me that I didn't run the other way. I look at it now and I feel like I can be so honest with you guys because you guys are part of our team. Like, it's so amazing to me that I didn't run the other way and I was ready for that challenge. I knew that this was going to be hard. I knew that this was going to require work. And after reading through this thick of material about what it took to be a new coach, I still decided to stick around. I knew that I could do it. I just had to trust Natalie to get me there. Natalie told me on our Get Started Right call, she goes, I think I'm going to try to make this my full-time thing. And I was like, okay. Like, you're just going to make this their full-time job, right? Like, you don't know. It's 2014. She's saying she's going to quit her job to do it. And guess what? In 2 months later, she did. She quit her job. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's paving the way. She knows what she's talking about. I need to listen to her. So like I said, all those accolades that like Mackenzie talked about, that didn't mean anything to me at the beginning. Those things took a lot of time. But what happened was I never, ever second guessed where she was leading me. I never second guessed that like I wasn't there for a reason. And I remember the day like it was yesterday that I quit that job. I will never forget the day that I quit that job because when I went to Tennessee, I thought things were going to get better. My pay went up $10,000. So now I'm not making 21, I'm making 31. Okay, that's great, right? You think that's a huge increase, and that's awesome. And it was night and day to what I was making. But money doesn't buy you happiness, right? Like, it doesn't buy you happiness. So even though I'm making more money, I'm still in the same freaking soul-sucking job that I was in West Virginia. And my boss was a nightmare. I remember working 50 to 60 hours a week. And the day that changed everything was for me was the day I worked an 77-hour week through winter weather coverage. And she called me in on a Saturday. And I laid in bed, and I can tell you what I was wearing, where I was sitting. I remember just hysterically crying and telling Zach, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this anymore. And I told him at the end of that year, at the end of 2015, I was going to quit that job. And I did. I left that job on January 8th, 2016, and I've never thought about it since. Except how great my life was. And guys, and when you look at it in terms of like where I was financially in this business, not good. Maybe $200 a week. Everything in the world told me I shouldn't have done it, but my happiness meant more. So how did I do this, right? How did I go from this girl that was wanting to get her Shakeology paid for, making $150 to $200 a week, to advancing 8 diamonds in a year, to making this a full-time income for myself, to helping other people realize that they can do it too? How did that happen? Because honestly, guys, I don't think of myself as anything special. I honestly, truly believe, and I'm not just saying this because everybody feels like they need to say this on a call. I truly believe that if I can do this, so can any of you. It's literally a mindset thing. People message me and they tell me like, oh, what you did this year is so insane. Give us some mind-blowing tricks to what you did. And I even get this from people from corporate. They're like, hey, can you come tell us what you did? And I'm like, yeah, sure, but it's nothing special. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. The nothing special. Like the small things maybe we don't think about that we should be doing every single day. And I want to start this really quickly with what I didn't do in 2015 and why 2016 was such a like flop of a year. Because 2015 was my hardest year, and I consider it a failure for 2 reasons. One, and this is I want you guys to be very honest, because this is a small group and I love these calls the most because it's like so much easier to like look at all your faces as I'm talking. Comparison. How many of you fell into the trap of comparison? Somebody rank advanced before you. Somebody that came in after the business is doing better than you. Somebody hit Success Club 10 and you're only at 2. It's easy to do that, right? That was my entire year. And it was with my upline coach. Natalie came into 2015, and she knows this. She came into 2015 exactly clear on what she wanted to accomplish that year. She was going to be an elite coach that year. She was going to lead Miss Village into elite. And I set my goal to be the same thing because she was shooting for it. Why not me, right? And that you should have that mentality. Like if your upline can do something, you can too, of course. But you should never be in competition with anyone. And I don't believe that I fully went into that year competing with her, but I do believe that I was comparing to everything she was doing. And it wasn't even just her. It was everybody. If a coach was rank advancing on I used to stay off of Facebook on Thursdays because I didn't want to see people rank advance because I wasn't. And I would look left, I would look right, I'd look up, I'd look down, but I would never look at the person right in front of me. And it was my fault that I was where I was in the business. The reason Natalie achieved what she achieved in 2015 is because she knew what she wanted and she didn't focus on anything else but what she wanted that year. I was focused on what freaking Valerie's doing, what Ryan's doing, what Kristen's doing. I was focused on everybody else and how I was going to keep up. That was the problem. Comparison, if you want to just like go ahead and drive your business off a cliff right now, start comparing yourself to other people. It's over. It's game over. And that's something that we can all honestly say, and I still sometimes find myself doing it, that we all go through. And it's honestly like, and it's kind of like this weird split between comparison and envy. It's like we want it so bad that we're like, okay, like if she accomplished this, like I want to accomplish it so bad. But guys, like you have to understand, and I'm not just saying this, like everybody runs their own race in this business. Do you guys know who Kathy Reuter is? She's a 10-star diamond coach. She came into this business 2 months after me, and she went immediately to 6 figures, 10-star. And I was sitting at diamond. That's enough for me to like basically just like, well, I'm done. I can't do this. I suck, right? But everybody is so different. There's a reason that your story is panning out the way that it is right now. There's a reason that life is a little bit harder for you than maybe the girl next to you. Because what that sweet, sweet victory makes it so much worth it. It's so worth it. So comparison was my number one trap I fell into in 2015. Number two is I was being selfish. I was so selfish in 2015 that I was like, and guys, be honest again, this is like a huge reality check. Have you ever like brought people on and like thought about like where to place them for your own personal benefit? And if this person were to hit Emerald, you would be Diamond. And if this person signs up, you would be at Success Club 20. And if this person signs up, like if they hit Diamond, you're going to be a 1-star Diamond. Like, have you ever like kind of noticed the back of your mind doing that? Like, it happens, but we have to remember, like, our goals they're great to have goals, but the people that we're bringing into this business have their own goals. And if we are forcing our goals on our coaches, they will quit. So I went into 2015 as a diamond. I left 2015 as a diamond. I made no progress that entire year. Maybe a little bit financially. My volume grew a little bit. Not a lot, I'll tell you that. It grew from the previous year, but my rank stayed the same. And I was focused on like, okay, if I can bring this person in and this person over here and I can get them to diamond, I can go to new leader in January. If I do this, I can achieve premier. If I do this, 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 and this. Guys, I was thinking me the entire time instead of thinking, hey, okay, why does Valerie want to be a diamond coach? Why does Kristen want to hit Emerald? What does that mean to her? If this person was here to hit Success Club 6, what would that do for their life? What would that extra $120 do for their life? I thought about me and what I wanted. And I do want to make this clear right now. You are supposed to have goals. You are supposed to have a vision, and you are supposed to have this clear thing that you are shooting for. But the only way you will achieve your goals is if you help enough people achieve theirs. That is the only way. The only way. How do we hit Success Club? By helping people start a health and fitness journey. The people that have the hardest time hitting Success Club are the ones that forget that little key fact that there's like a person behind the screen that we are like actually supposed to help lose weight. It's huge. It's important to remember. So those are the two biggest traps that I fell in 2015. And if you're falling into these traps right now, if you're saying, oh God, I feel like she's speaking to me right now, here's where things change. You make that decision today that shit's over. Because that's what I did on January 1st of 2016. And this is how my whole year changed. I have 5 tips for you on what I did in 2016. Number 1 is I found myself again. You have to walk, after this call, I encourage you guys all to walk into your bathroom. And I'm being serious about this. Walk in your bathroom, look at yourself in the mirror, and say, I am taking full responsibility for where my business is in this very moment. It is no one else's fault but yours that your business is where it is right now. If you're not where you want to be, take ownership of that, because again, that changes today. You have the opportunity to change this. I went on an insane personal growth journey starting the first day of the month. And I don't mean like, great, go ahead and buy a stack of books and just start reading them one by one. I'm talking like you need to be reading the shit that you're struggling in. Like if Mackenzie tells you like You Are a Badass is a great book, but you're great in confidence, then you don't need to be reading You Are a Badass. Like you need to like really sit down and like take out a piece of paper and write down where you feel you're struggling. Are you struggling in time management? Are you struggling in confidence? Are you struggling with your relationship with God? Are you struggling in your relationship with your husband? Are you struggling with conversations? Where are you having troubles right now? Write them down, send it to Mackenzie, and Mackenzie will help you find books based on those subjects. And that's what I did. First thing I did. Like right now, everybody right now is talking about goal setting, right? It's January. Guess what I'm reading right now? Wife After God. How to be a better wife to my husband. That's where I need to be focused right now, is my relationship with my husband. My goal setting, that's fine. But like where my head needs to be at is there. So it's like we need to find a book or find a podcast or find something that's going to help us really push for what we want and where we're going to get. We need to go on like a self-development growth spree, or you guys will be stuck. So find what speaks to you. That was the biggest thing. And guess what? Whenever you don't take ownership, or whatever you're struggling in your business, you're putting that out there on social media. Guess what you're attracting? People going through the same problems as you. Our social media is so powerful. It's so powerful. Like what we're putting out there is what we are getting back. Believe it or not. So what I did is like my own stuff, being able to find myself again, changed the way that I posted on social media, because now I'm genuinely myself. I'm starting to really figure out who Kelsey is, so I can put Kelsey out there to the world. And now I'm starting to find the people that want what I have, that want to do this with me. And a big thing, a huge thing I did, is I stopped making this look easy. Guys, it is so easy to put your highlight reel up on Facebook. I just paid off my car. I just paid off a credit card. I'm going to use my example today. I just got a jacket from Beachbody, right? But like no one sees the shit that you have to do behind the scenes to get that stuff. And when we put out our highlight reel, what do you think? And put in the chat box, I want to be honest, what are you attracting when you're just showing your highlight reel all the time? Anybody know? Yeah, that's it. When we're sharing all these great things, and I'm not saying don't share the great stuff, because you should, but you also need to show how hard you work to get it. People think you're being fake, and you think, yeah. I changed. So when I found myself again, when I went on this personal development journey, I started speaking to my tribe, and I showed people how hard I was working to achieve what I was going for. So what started happening is I was attracting coaches that were ready to work hard. They knew that this was going to require time. They knew this was going to require work, that they were going to have to make some sort of sacrifice. And then all of a sudden, my team started getting really strong with people that wanted to be here. Sure, I still have some of those people that slip through the cracks, and you know what we're talking about. The people that come in, don't get what they want fast enough and quit. I still have them, and that sucks when that happens, because that just means you wasted your time. But I will say I have a lot of strong coaches on my team. And it's because I was so adamant that they were going to have to work hard. And I shared how hard I personally worked on social media. Number 2 was the vital process. Everybody knows what the vital process is, correct? So if you don't know what that is, it is sign people up, get people started, get them results, introduce the business opportunity, help them help other people over and over and over again. And I was sitting at Super Saturday, not the last one, but the one before that, and they popped this up on the screen for the first time and introduced it. And I was like, oh, that's what I've been doing. Like, that's what I have been doing that has been making my team successful this year. So I want to share this with you guys really quick. This is my diamonds. These are my diamonds. Here's Erica. Erica's down 23 pounds. On December 28th, 2015, she said she had full intentions on telling me today she was on board, but her heat went out. It's going to cost more than I saved up for, so I better not spend any money right now. I hope to be able to do this before May. I'll be thinking and keeping you in mind. Thank you so much, and I'll keep your Facebook posts on motivation. I could have let her go that day, but I decided to battle her objection and tell her about the 30-day money-back guarantee and tell her how she paid it forward to a couple people, she would get her money back. 2 days later, she has been thinking about it all night and she cannot wait to start. And she ended up committing. Erica's down 23 pounds. Rebecca is down 53 pounds. Rebecca on 10/14/2015 purchased the 21-day fix. She was me. She purchased the 21-day fix on her own, got assigned a random coach, asked if she could switch to me as her coach. I could have told her no. I could have not let her in my challenge group that day, but I did. And she's also a diamond coach on my team. Great transformation. Stephanie's down 15 pounds. The conversation on the right is when I introduced the business opportunity to her the first time back in May. She said she had the thought of failing miserably scared her, and she didn't want to lose interest as a coach, so she actually told me no. She signed up as a coach in September of last year, and she fast-tracked to diamond in 56 days. Alicia is down 56 pounds. Also told me no because she said she was getting married and money was tight, which was great because I was also too, so I could battle that objection pretty well. It took her, she said no at 4:27 and then said, okay, sign me up at 5:42. So we kind of kept that one going. But again, another insane transformation. Zach is my fifth diamond, but other than Erica and Alicia, these are the other two crazy transformations in that account. Both strong emeralds. Ashton was my sixth diamond. She was not enrolled by me, but her sponsor quit, and she lost over 40 pounds with me. Also, so I don't have like a beginning conversation with her. And then diamond number 7 is my second business center. And these are the two girls that were the emeralds that made that account top diamond. There's now 3 on each side of that account. But another insane transformation. So what are the things you notice about the way that worked out? Like, I didn't just sign people up and like, hey, hopefully we'll get to diamond. My diamond coaches are the ones that believed that this worked. And they got the transformation. And I always say that the biggest thing is like, if Carl Deichler were to call you tomorrow and say, hey, you can't work the business anymore, would you still use our products? If you say no, then you might not be here for the right reasons. But I want to create lifers that even if the business was taken away, like I would still use our products no matter what, because I believe in them. Even if you took my business away. I'd be mad about it, but I would still use our products. And that's what I know. I honestly can say that for each of those girls. I mean, those girls alone probably make up a good almost 350 pounds loss. Just those girls. That does not count my other coaches. I have one coach down 73 pounds and she's an emerald. Like, I am a sole believer in the transformation. And if we ever lose sight of that, we are in for a big rude awakening. So I made an emphasis on the vital process. Does that make sense? Number 3 was my back against the wall mentality. I don't know if I told many people this, but the day that I quit my full-time job, Zach brought me out to dinner that night, and he brought me to this nice restaurant, got a glass of wine. We were sitting and talking, and he says, okay, we need to have the talk. And I said, oh, great, here we go. And he said, I have to say this as a spouse, but if you can't make this work by March, you're going to have to find a job because we have a wedding coming up and we have a lot going on. And that was all I needed to hear. I never wanted to walk through those doors again, ever. And I was standing on our Beachbody cruise in March when I got my paycheck that morning. We were walking off the boat and I saw that I matched my 2-week paycheck at my former job. And that was like a huge moment for me. But how I did that wasn't just by like sitting back and like waiting for it to happen. Like, I busted my ass to get there. Like, that's going to require, which was step 4, a lot of doubling your efforts, making sacrifices, having a CEO mentality. Guys, I did not, like, Success Club 5 was bullshit to me. because I had big goals. And Success Club 5 is a good thing. So if that's what you're hitting, please do not think I'm calling you out and saying that's bullshit. That's a good thing, especially as a new coach. But the thing is like when I had to make a full-time income, right? Success Club 5 is $120. That's not a full-time income. So for me, I had to hit, my goal was at least Success Club 20 every month. And that required me doing a lot more work. It required me putting my back against the wall, and I had to make Look at this house right now. This is just one room. I've lived in chaos for a year. And poor Zach, I mean, he still says to me, why can't we just freaking hire someone to clean this damn house? Because like I just can't like get my brain wrapped around the fact that I need to stop working to go unload the dishwasher. Like that just seems boring to me and I don't want to do it. Like that's just how I am. And I understand like that's part of your wifely responsibilities, whatever. But for me, I had a business to build. I'm in here talking to you guys instead of sitting on the couch and watching TV with him, right? Like you have to make sacrifices. And I'm not telling you to put your family on the back burner. What I am telling you is to sit down and figure out what you are willing to sacrifice right now for the long-term good. TV time, The Bachelor on Mondays. This entire day I told you I was on 12 coach calls. So I pretty much gave my entire Tuesday to my team. What are we willing to sacrifice? For me, it was unfortunately a clean house and like TV time and time with Zach. And I literally remember telling him like, babe, give me 1 year. You're going to see me, but I might not be all the way there, but give me 1 year to at least match that income just so we can feel better. Because I did. I put my back against the wall and said, give me 1 year. And I did it. My salary in Beachbody last year passed my old corporate salary. Like just by me making that decision to do it. Like, and I never thought I could do that, but I did. I made the sacrifices and I doubled my efforts. I reached, if the business activity tracker told me to reach out to 5 people, I was reaching out to 20. I upped my numbers. And then I had a CEO mentality. I treated this business like a business. That's one thing that Zach drilled into my head actually from day one. He was like, this is a business. Like you're building this, so treat it like one. Stop letting people treat you like shit and waste your time and get in there and get your work done so you can live the life you always wanted to do. I have a really good tracking system with my business. I have systems that comes over time. But I treat it like a business. There's a firm difference between coach and CEO. A coach is a frazzled mess, constantly on their phones, has no organization in their life. How many of you guys, and be honest, check your phone constantly? If you get a message, you'll immediately respond. That's a no-no. You will burn yourself out big time. Right now, my messages say 28. I have 30 Facebook notifications. My text messages are sitting at 15, but I have to know when to shut it down. So I have strict business hours for myself, like answering messages are from what time is it today? I answer messages from 11:40 to 12:40, and I haven't looked at them. That's probably why they're so crazy right now. And then I sent them after, which makes it even worse. But at the same time, like I just shut it off. On Messenger on your phone, there's a spot where you can shut off the notifications. I highly recommend that you do it. Set business hours for yourself. You want this to be fun. You do not want this to be stressful. The last tip that I have is putting your team's goals first and leading without intention. Obviously, you heard my big fail in 2015. So I made the decision that my goals are there. I have a giant vision board next to my desk right now. I have a very detailed list of what I want to accomplish in 2017. But I don't pass that on to them and say, hey, like, I want to be a 10-star diamond this year, so you, and you need to be a diamond coach. Where I'm going with this is, like, I want to know what they want out of this. I want to know everything about it. And I'm going to show you guys one more thing on what I'm saying. Like, you have to ask yourself, how well do you know your coaches? Do you know them as well as you think you do? Here we go. So I know from my coaches why she started, what's unique about her, what motivates her, why she chose me as her coach instead of some random person, what her vision is for her future, her why, her top 10 goals when she first started as a coach. This is old, so that's why they're all older. How I can hold her accountable, her strengths, her weaknesses, so I can recommend personal development to her. After that, I take notes every time we're on the phone together. We set new goals together. I take notes the next time. I know her goals for October. Then we break them down by week. Take notes about what she talked about, set new goals. I highlight them as she accomplishes them. This was Stephanie. This is the girl that hit diamond in 56 days. I knew what book she was reading. I knew when coaches were interested in the business opportunity that she signed up. I knew how much money she was making a week because she had income goals. So she shared that with me so I could help her get closer. I knew everything about her. And I do this with every single coach. Like I have a document per coach. So I know all of this stuff. So how well do you know your coaches? And if you notice in there, she sets her goals. And I just help her get there. And she had an income goal to achieve. What was her income goal when she first started? She would like to contribute to her household income by making an extra $1,500 a month. She's not quite there yet, but she is way farther than when she started. So I told her Diamond should be on her radar because she gets the higher bonus cycle, right? I told her she should sign up her spouse because having another Emerald account does what? Gives you extra cycle bonus. So everything that I gave her was not based off of me saying, oh, it would be really awesome to hit 5-star this year. So Stephanie should be a diamond. She set her diamond date for the day that I was supposed to start 5-star qualification without even knowing it. And I just led her there. That is the biggest thing. It's great to have these goals. Elite, Premier, 2-star, 5-star, whatever it is you're shooting for. But don't get distracted by that. Like you will achieve it. You will. It'll happen. As long as you're doing it for the right reasons. If you help enough people reach their goals, you will naturally reach yours. And I have the honor to say that I helped 7 people last year launch a business. That, when all this crazy shit they send me, it's because of them. I was able to help those people launch a business and grow a business. And now I have 3 coaches on my team going for Elite in 2018. 3! Like doing it with me because I showed them that they could do it. That's it. That's the secret sauce. That's all I got for you.
Kels, that was so great. I took like 2 pages of notes, but I just want to something that really stood out to me. I just want to add this because it was just so awesome. And this really stood out to me. And I just want to be incredibly transparent here. I totally can relate to the comparison and to not with the comparison comes that selfishness because you don't necessarily feel confident in yourself or you don't believe in yourself enough to be able to run this business and to be able to take those people to reaching their goals. So therefore, you're doing it out of the wrong place of your heart. And a lot of times you don't even realize it because you don't know there's the other way. So I can completely and 100% agree with what that feels like. And what you said about taking responsibility for where your business is and where your life is, that's awesome. It's a hard pill to swallow, guys, but the moment you look at yourself and you say, I am 100% responsible for where my life is right now. And if I want to change that, I have to take the steps to change that. There's nobody else in this world that can do that for me. And those coaches that we want to get to where we want to get them, they can't do it for you either. You have to inspire people to want to change their life, but you have to be inspired to change your own life first. And so that was so awesome, Kelsey. So great. Does anybody else have any questions or anything they want to add? One more thing I want to say is I like how you kept, touching on get to know your coaches and get to know your challenge, or get to know your coaches so you can help them reach their goals. And guys, the same thing, like she said, like all of those coaches started with transformations. You never know who the next, you could have a 2018 elite coach in your challenge group right now. You have no idea. Like just the way that Kelsey, kind of started this by saying like, she was so that girl that thought this was a fraud. Natalie word vomited all over her. She gave her like the wrong systems. They weren't wrong, but like they weren't these polished systems to get her set up. And it just goes to show that Natalie stayed with her. She stuck with her, and she helped her believe in what this could do to change her life. And now she achieved elite. So that's really where it starts. Don't get stuck on thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't have the perfect things, and right now everything's not perfect and set in stone, and there's no way I don't have a team page, blah 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 blah. Like don't get stuck on like having everything polished and perfect, and not get out there and just try to change somebody's life. Because like she said, if we're doing that for that reason, all that stuff is just gonna fall into place. So I guess I didn't know that much about like how you started, Kel, so that was really awesome to hear, because look at her now. I mean, come on. I know I'm not going into the accolades. I'm just saying like it's crazy. It's so crazy. You can say the wrong things to the right people, guys, and they're gonna stick around.
Yep, it's very true. Very true. And honestly, I think like if you're gonna make like a giant goal for yourself this year, and my team and I have all made this goal, because we have like all these great goals, but one goal on your list this year needs to be how many transformations you're gonna get somebody. Or people. If that's not on your goal board, like you're doing yourself a disservice on that. Because, and that doesn't have to be the means you enroll them tomorrow and they're one of them. I'm talking like from the moment you began as a coach, like going back and re-inviting people to a group and getting them another transformation. Like I count them as repeats. Like I have the transformation binder where like I keep track of my coach's transformations or my challenger transformations. And this is Rebecca, the first transformation. And I have the second one now. Like I have all these, like that's the biggest thing. And like that counts as another transformation. Every time that they go through a program and they get another one, that's another transformation. And you play a part in that. So like the fact that I have as many in here as I do. And like, I always ask my challengers for a before picture. Because, and I have them send it to me, I tell them that it's just for me, but I want this. Like, I need to see this. Like, the impact that I am having on somebody's life. Like, these girls here, like, they're not on my team, but they're a customer of mine. And I want them to send me that picture at the end and say, look what you did. Like, look what you helped me do.
I think it goes back to, if this business wasn't here, if there was no Emerald, if there was no Diamond, if there was no 5-star, and we still had these products, would you still encourage your friends to drink Shakeology and join you in a workout fitness program group and stay accountable and reach their goals? I know I would, because my life would not look the way that it looks right now had my friend not just said, hey, I think you should do this with me. I think you would really love it. And a year ago, I thought I had reached my weight goal or my fitness goal. And sitting here a year later, like she said, like I had another transformation, so don't give up on people, guys, and just be their friend. Be there to help them change their life. So I love that, Kel. So that's so true. So true. So true. I don't have anything else I want to add. Does anyone have any questions? Anything at all?
Hey, well, right now I just have discount coaches, but like I loved like the questions you were asking your coaches, like when you finally so I'm like wondering what should I ask them when I first get my first coach or whatever.
For your first coach, or like
my first real, like they want to run the business, because every other one is just discounts so far. So
I think that the biggest thing is one thing that I'm really, really adamant on with my new coaches is I am very on top of their health and fitness journeys the entire time. So even after they sign up as a coach, it's one thing we kind of forget about is like we view them as like our coach and not as our challenger anymore. So I'm very on top of their health and fitness journeys, where I always know what program they're doing and I always know what flavor of Shakeology they're drinking. Because like they can't bullshit me, you know? It's like, I know. I see it come out of your account every month. Like I know if you're drinking it or not. I know if you're doing your workout or not. So I think that like that's the biggest thing, is like making that a priority, or from the beginning too, is saying like, hey, like making that expectation known. On our very first call, I'm like, hey, I want you to know that even though you're a coach on the team, like I'm still your coach. I'm still here to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. So that's my first thing I ask, is what they're still trying to achieve health and fitness wise. So that way I can make sure that that's up to date and know what to do. But I want to know why they're here. I want to know who they are as a person. So like I just did a get started right call before this call. And I said, like, who is Andrea? What are you about? What do you do for fun? Are you married? Do you have kids? What makes you laugh? What makes you cry? And it might sound like stupid questions, but like it's means everything to them, to know that you actually care about them on that level. I want to know what's unique about them, what makes them different than other people. Because with that, they'll really like dig deep and they'll tell you like some crazy story about them and like how they overcame depression, or how they are really good at public speaking, or whatever. Like they'll tell you this stuff. I asked them, why they came to Beachbody. I want to know like why, because those are fun, because if you can get that from them, like you can send it to them a year later, which I've been doing, like the original why, and it's really fun to watch that evolve. But I want to know like why they came to Beachbody, and I also want to know who they are now that Beachbody is in their life. So what has changed for you? Are you down 10 pounds, or how do you feel about yourself? Are your headaches gone? Like what has changed for you? I asked them what their strengths and their weaknesses are. That helps me recommend personal development. I asked them what they need from me as their coach, because everybody's extremely different. I asked them what motivates them. Are they motivated by recognition, income? What is that, like rank? What's going to push them every day? And then their why and their vision for their future. A lot of them don't, like new coaches really don't know their why at first. And we need to kind of help them establish that. So kind of more like focus that first call on what they want out of it. Like, what's your vision for this? Like, are you trying to make this like a full-time gig, pay for your Shakeology, stuff like that. With that information, it's extremely easy for you to help them write their coming out post. So kind of think of the structure of a coming out post and make sure you have all the details from that. And then I type it up as I have that conversation with them, and I'll send it to them at the end. So that way that every time they'll tell you, like, I don't know what to post about, like you say, look, refer to that document that I've typed at the beginning, because you have a lot to post about. You have quite the story.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, I could just like ask you a million questions, but also like I know that you are on YouTube a lot and like your blog and all that stuff. Like, what has been like really helpful, do you think? Like, and what's kind of, where have you had a lot of people come from your blog or YouTube? No, just pretty much Facebook.
I honestly say that that's noise. Like the blog, YouTube, and extra stuff is noise. Like, focus on your one thing. So a lot of people come in and ask me that too. They're like, oh my God, your blog is like killing it. And there's all these people on it. I've never signed up somebody for my blog. So my attention is not on my blog. I post stuff there. I update things there just to get the traffic and to like have a place to send people for recipes and stuff like that. But like, don't like, the biggest thing is like your audience is like, you probably know where your audience is right now. It's probably Facebook or Instagram or something like that. That's where you need to be. Like your blog and YouTube, that's just extra stuff. Don't feel like you need to like put a lot of emphasis there, because like I know my audience is not on YouTube, and I know my audience is not on my blog. People that follow me on YouTube are other coaches. Like they're just kind of watching what I'm doing and taking notes, stuff like that, which is fine. But like, am I attracting people through YouTube? No. But my like page, I would say, is something I'm putting a huge emphasis on now, but that's new. Like I always had one, but now I'm really starting to pump it out there. But I'm still utilizing my warm market on Facebook. I'm not until you max out at 5,000 friends, like you still wide open range, because I have not signed up all 3,000 of my friends yet on Facebook. So that's pretty much where I'm still at.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sierra, did you want to ask something?
Yeah, I have a question. I try to post at least like 2-3 times on my Facebook. Do you recommend I know you're supposed to go live, but is there like a certain amount, like a week, that I should try to go live? Or like, how do you pick your topics when you go live on Facebook?
It's a good question. Facebook is very, very on it with the live videos right now. They're like really promoting it heavily. So like more people are seeing it when you do go live than a normal post. So like when you go live, like especially like they're recommending, I think 3 to 4 times a week to like really start pushing yourself out there because, like, I mean, they even run commercials about Facebook Live right now. Like they're really trying to push that shit out there. My topics that I come up with, pretty much the objections I get, I address publicly. Demonstrations like cooking, if I'm cooking something like easy, I'll do those live. Something that's like weighing on my heart, I will always do live. Anything, I think, like, I mean, if we're out doing something fun, like I'll go live from there and show them like where we're at. When something crazy happens, like if you ordered a new program and it came to your house, like unpack the box live and show them what came in the box. Shouting out challengers, I do drawings and stuff live sometimes, like gets people on there. The biggest thing when it comes, you can do anything live, but the biggest thing is what your caption is. So do something that's gonna like make them click on it. Like I did one that was like, I hate the taste of Shakeology. And it's like, if you follow me, like you're like, why does she hate Shakeology all of a sudden? So they click on it. I had the 56 views on that one, like at once. I'm like, what the hell is all your problem? Nosy. But like finding stuff that's gonna make them click on it. So like, I have exciting news. People click on it. People are nosy. I'm telling you. If you leave them in the dark, they will click. So whatever you do, go live about anything and everything. Like objection wise, like I think I did one like I literally just said internet trolls, and like I just did this whole rant on internet trolls, and like that thing went like crazy. People love that one. So I think like just the biggest thing for those is do anything and anything. Just make sure your caption's like going to bring them into it. Go click. And tag yourself in it the next day so it pops back out to everybody.
I love that. People are nosy. It's so true.
They are.
That's like half the
I'm not
reason.
gonna lie, I watch every single one of your live videos. I'm one of those people.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, that's what I created. But you probably wouldn't if like I was, here's why you should buy our challenge pack. It's like, challenge packs don't work. Like, they'll click on it. I'm telling you, like anything. All access pass, like it's easy to do what everybody else is doing. It's the Netflix of fitness. That's all I keep seeing from every coach out there right now. So how can we make that different? Go live about it. And like I did a Google Chromecast drawing. Like I like talked about that live, and then I did the Chromecast drawing live too. So like they could like watch me pick it out and pick my person. It's like they knew I wasn't bullshitting. The girl got it. So it's like Facebook Live allows us to really bring people in like a way that they're not talked to normally. Like everybody, they're seeing Shakeology and the 21 Day Fix all over their news feeds. But like this is your chance. Like you can capture them for like 3 to 4 minutes and really like sell them on something just by your passion and your voice.
Does anybody have anything else? We've kept her on. She's had a long day. Thank you so much, Kels. This was really awesome. I know I took a crap ton away from this because I have a lot of growing to do as a leader too. So this was really incredible, and any chance that I can learn from you, I always want to. So thank you so much. Congratulations to you and your team and everything you've all accomplished this year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see you at Summit. Well, actually, no, I'll see you in
Punta Cana.
Yeah.
I'll upload this to YouTube and send it to you.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
I do it tomorrow, but I'll send it to you.
Yeah, just send it whenever you get a chance. No rush. All right. Thank you so much. Good night, guys.
Thank you.